On Capitol Hill, tensions flared in a fiery exchange that put some of America's most controversial topics front and center. Ageism, race-based hiring, college admissions, and President Biden's fitness for office. A lawmaker grilled witness Dr. Harper on whether ageism is a form of bigotry, whether concern over Biden's age is discriminatory, and if race should ever factor into hiring or college admissions. This hearing wasn't just about policy, it was about values, fairness, and the very definition of equality in modern America. Please be sure to stick around as we unpack what happened, what was said, and what it means for the country moving forward. And before we dive in, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future coverage of critical moments like this one.
Thank you for holding this hearing, and thank you to all of the witnesses for taking the time to be here. We certainly really appreciate it. Dr. Harper, I've got a couple questions for you. Just starting out, do you believe that ageism is a form of bigotry?
Yes.
You do? Yeah, I thought so because you wrote an article saying that ageism in media discourse about Biden's reelection is an issue. Do you still believe that ageism was an issue in the past election cycle?
I believe that ageism in any form and in any context is a problem.
Do you believe that Americans who were concerned about Joe Biden's age were bigoted?
I did not say that in my article, nor do I claim that now.
You said that ageism is a form of bigotry.
Ageism is a form of bigotry, but I did not say that in my article. You cannot misrepresent my idea.
Okay, well, why don't you provide your explanation for that? Ageism is a form of bigotry. People who were concerned about Joe Biden's age were ageist. How do you square that?
I'm less concerned about Joe Biden's age. I am more concerned about young people and older Americans being systematically denied opportunities and access because of their age.
Do you think that Joe Biden's age had a relation to his cognitive decline?
That is outside of my area of expertise.
Do you need to be an expert to determine whether an 82-year-old man who is clearly visibly declining mentally on camera, if that has anything to do with his age?
I'm not a cognitive scientist.
You're not? Okay. Of course you're not. Do you think those Americans were right to be concerned about Joe Biden's age?
Again, you're missing the point. The point is about the ageism itself. Okay. It isn't about Joe Biden.
We're going to move on. Do you believe that America should be a colorblind society? For instance, should people be treated differently based on their race? It's just a yes or no question.
It's not a yes or no question.
It's a yes or no question.
It is as I said in the beginning of my testimony, America
yes
has not done right by indigenous peoples, by black people, by Asian American and Pacific Islander people.
Should people be treated differently based on their race? Yes or no?
People should receive the services and the support and the remedies that are
your answer
owed to
is
them.
That they should be treated differently based on their race.
They should receive the remedies that are owed to them because of the systemic racism and injustice.
Do you believe that race should be considered in employer hiring practices?
What do you think? Is it bigoted to question a leader's mental acuity because of their age? Comment below. And don't forget, tap that subscribe button if you want more honest political analysis without spin.
I do not believe that white people are the only qualified people for jobs.
I didn't say that. Nobody said that. I asked you if race should be considered in employer hiring practices. And you're not going to intimidate me by slandering me as a racist.
I did not call you a racist.
No,
you're not going to intimidate me by insisting that I called you a racist.
It's a straightforward question. It's a yes or no question. Should race be considered in employer hiring practices? Yes or no?
I believe that diversity ought to be considered as companies and other organizations attempt to reflect their customers, our country.
I'll take that as a yes. Which race do you think should be preferred?
I do not think that a single race should be preferred.
You just said that you believe that race should be considered in employer hiring practices.
I don't know. There's going to be a transcript of this hearing. I didn't say that in that way.
Okay, why don't you explain what you believe?
What I said and what I believe is that the demographic composition of workplaces,
Which
our
is
nation's military,
by
and
demographic
so on,
composition.
our Congress ought to reflect the diversity of the United
racial
States of
demographic
America.
Composition. Racial demographic, is that what you're saying?
Racial, gender.
Okay, so race should be a factor in employer hiring practices. Yeah, that's what you're saying, is it not?
Organizations ought to attempt to match the diversity of
you're
their...
hopping around the question.
No,
you don't want to
I am
answer
answering
it.
quite straightforwardly,
Who
as a
gets
matter
to
of fact.
determine which races are preferred?
I already told you I don't have a single racial group.
You just told me that you believe that the racial demographic makeup should be taken into account in hiring practices.
And it should be reflected in all levels of companies and other organizations.
Okay, let's talk about college admissions. If two different children are applying for college, let's say one is white and one is black, and there's one slot available, should they be evaluated based on the same objective criteria? Test scores, for instance.
Are you familiar with holistic admissions?
Should they be held to the same standards regarding test scores?
I am a proponent of holistic admissions.
It's just a yes or no question.
Yeah, no, I can't answer that question for you as a proponent of holistic admissions.
Got it. I'll take that as a no.
Is concern over Biden's mental state justified? Or is it ageism? Tell us what you think in the comments. And while you're at it, hit that like and subscribe. The conversation then shifted dramatically to race. The lawmaker asked if America should strive to be colorblind. Dr. Harper refused to give a simple yes or no, instead insisting that systemic racism demands remedies, and that people should receive support based on historic injustices. The lawmaker pushed back hard, framing it as differential treatment based on race. But Dr. Harper held her ground, advocating for equity, not just equality. This clash reveals a deep divide in American thinking: equal treatment vs. corrective justice. Which side do you fall on? Comment below. And if this debate has you thinking, make sure to subscribe for more sharp commentary and behind-the-scenes political drama. Should race be considered in hiring practices? Dr. Harper defended diversity initiatives, saying organizations should reflect the demographics of the country. The lawmaker interpreted that as racial preference and demanded to know which race should be preferred. She refused to name one, insisting instead on inclusion and representation, not exclusion or favoritism. But the lawmaker doubled down, claiming her stance inherently meant preferring one race over another. This isn't just about corporate policy, it's about how we define merit. Should hiring be colorblind or color-conscious? Let us know. And don't leave without subscribing. The final round of questioning zeroed in on college admissions. The hypothetical was simple. 2 applicants, 1 white, 1 black, 1 seat. Should race factor in? Dr. Harper answered by promoting holistic admissions, which include race, test scores, background, and more. But the lawmaker demanded a yes or no. Should they be held to the same standard? Dr. Harper refused the binary, and the lawmaker took that as a no. This moment cuts to the heart of the affirmative action debate, now roiling across universities. Is the holistic admissions code for unfair advantage, or a fair way to level the playing field? Share your views and smash that subscribe button. This hearing was more than a clash of personalities. It was a reflection of America's ongoing struggle with age, race, fairness, and truth. Do we treat everyone the same, or treat people based on their history? Are we brave enough to ask hard questions without fear of being labeled? And where do we draw the line between justice and favoritism? If you found this video thought-provoking, don't just scroll away. Like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. More moments like this are coming, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Thanks for watching.